When I picked up the phone to ask my son, Daniel, when his wedding would finally happen, I never expected the answer I received. Before we get deep into the story, do take a few minutes to subscribe to this account so you don't miss out on more beautiful stories coming up. His fiancée, Marissa, looked straight at me and said softly, almost kindly, "Oh, we already got married yesterday. We kept it very small. Only people who truly mattered were there." Those words cut deeper than she could ever imagine. For 3 years, I had paid their rent every single month. I kept their refrigerator full when they struggled. I bought their furniture, covered emergencies, and quietly stepped in whenever they were short on money. Yet somehow, I wasn't someone who mattered. I stood frozen in my own living room, the phone heavy in my hand, while my son avoided my eyes. Marissa sat comfortably on the couch I had bought for them, completely at ease. In my closet hung a pale blue dress I had chosen for a wedding I was never invited to, along with new shoes and the foolish hope that I still had a place in my only child's life. I had imagined smiling in wedding photos that would never exist for me. Every plan, every dream, shattered in that moment. Daniel mumbled something about it being private, intimate, just witnesses. But I already knew the truth. Social media told the real story. I saw her parents beaming beside the bride and groom. I saw siblings raising champagne glasses. I saw the elegant gown, partly paid for with money I had given weeks earlier. I saw everything I was never meant to see. Exactly 1 week later, Marissa called again. Her voice was different this time. Desperate. Shaken. "Evelyn, the rent is overdue. The landlord says we have days. You forgot to send the money." I stayed silent. My mind replayed every sacrifice I had made. Every cancelled plan. Every time I went without so they could be comfortable. When I finally spoke, my voice was calm. Steady. "Marissa," I said, "didn't I tell you I only help people who think I matter?" The silence on the line was deafening. Then came confusion. Disbelief. Excuses. She talked about love. About family. About how I was like a second mother to her. The same words she always used when she needed something. That phrase, "only people who matter," changed something inside me. That night, I added everything up. Rent. Groceries. Gift. Emergencies. Repairs. Loans that were never repaid. More than $30,000. Money taken from my savings. My retirement. From what my late husband left so I could grow old in peace. I cried that night, but not from sadness. I cried from clarity. The next morning, I made my coffee like always. But for the first time in decades, I didn't check my phone for my son's name. I sat at the kitchen table, the same table where I had planned their lives for them, and opened my bank statements. The numbers were brutal. Undeniable. Over $33,000 spent on 2 grown adults who barely saw me. When Daniel called later that day, I let it ring. When Marissa tried next, I did the same. For the first time, I chose myself. That afternoon, I went to the bank, not to send money, but to take my life back. I cancelled every automatic payment. Locked down my accounts. The bank manager looked at me with more concern than my own child had shown in months. When I walked out, I felt lighter than I had in years. When I got home, 3 cars were parked in my driveway. They had keys. Inside, Daniel sat with his head in his hands. Marissa paced. And a stranger, an attorney, was going through my private papers at my dining table. They said they were worried about me. About my confusion. About protecting my finances. It took seconds to understand the truth. They didn't want to protect me. They wanted control. When Marissa said everything I owned would belong to them someday anyway, the illusion shattered completely. I wasn't a mother to them. I was an inheritance. I threw the papers into the trash and told them to leave. They argued, threatened, accused. I didn't move. When the door finally closed behind them, the silence felt sacred. The next morning, I met with my own lawyer. He confirmed what I already knew: this was financial abuse. So I protected myself. I changed the locks, installed cameras, opened new accounts, blocked numbers. When Marissa tried calling from another phone, I asked one question: "Do you miss me or my money?" She didn't answer. I started doing things for myself again. A haircut, a manicure, lunch with a kind neighbor who listened without wanting anything in return. I visited my husband's grave and promised him, and myself, that I would never again pay for someone else's comfort at the cost of my own dignity. They tried to fight back. They called authorities, claimed I was unstable. But facts don't bend. Medical records, financial documents, witnesses. I was clear, competent, free. When the case went to court, I told my story calmly, honestly, without fear. And the judge listened. The ruling was final. I was mentally sound. My choices were rational. The attempt to control my life was denied. Months later, I sold my house and moved into a bright apartment near the city center. I donated to causes that protect seniors. I traveled, painted, laughed. I lived. My name is Evelyn. I am 72 years old. And I finally understand this truth. Love that must be paid for is not love at all. And freedom, once reclaimed, is priceless. Please like, comment, share and subscribe to this account.